Update. My boyfriend let my stalker ex into our apartment to leave me a birthday surprise. How do I handle this absurdity? Before we read about the OP's current situation, first let's read OP's post about the stalker ex from 10 months ago. Me, 27 female, and my boyfriend, 27 male, have been dating for 2 months. We have so much in common. He's super sweet and always goes the extra mile for me with grand romantic gestures, even asking me out by buying me my favorite comic book and leaving a sticky note between the pages confessing his feelings. I've never gotten anything but amazing vibes from him this whole time, until now. However, boyfriend has a childhood friend, 27 female, I'll call Sid. My boyfriend was very upfront when we started dating that he and Sid had romantic feelings for each other in the past, but decided it would be best if they only stayed friends since they didn't want to risk their friendship. I never actually met Sid before and have only heard about her from boyfriend and vice versa. About 2 weeks ago, my boyfriend texted me, super distraught, telling me that Sid called him, saying that she was too jealous of our relationship and that she couldn't stand being boyfriend's friend while he was in a happy relationship with me. She basically gave boyfriend an ultimatum. He had to break up with me or she would cut him out of her life. I was baffled by this, thinking that this 27-year-old woman, who had mutually agreed with boyfriend that they would never date, was so childish to give him a ridiculous ultimatum, and I voiced that to him. He got mad at me, saying it's not that simple, and seemed to be seriously considering breaking up with me just to stay friends with Sid. I was in disbelief that he couldn't see how manipulative and abusive this was, and that the obvious conclusion would be to cut her off since she was clearly toxic and controlling. But he was still on the fence, and we ended up taking a break and not talking while he thought it over. The next week and a half, he barely talked to me, telling me he was in a very hard place, while I became increasingly frustrated that this would even be a hard choice. Like we're in a happy relationship, and he's debating breaking up because his crazy friend can't handle her jealousy? I was fuming. He then finally came to me after that time of not talking, saying he decided to choose me and leave his friendship with Sid behind. But by that time, I was so mad that it was even a choice that took 2 whole weeks to decide to begin with, that I ended up breaking up with him anyway. Now his friends are telling me I'm an a-hole for not breaking up with him sooner, because now Sid is still cutting him out for picking me over her, and I'm still leaving him. Whereas if I had broken up with him during the weeks he was thinking it over, he would have at least been able to stay friends with Sid. But honestly, I didn't even realize how mad I was until he picked me and made it seem like he was some kind of martyr for doing so. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. She's obviously in love with him to be this jealous. Eventually, she would have wormed her way back into his life, and you would be second best. I don't think so. I suspect he's her backup plan. She wants him carrying a torch for her, but doesn't want an actual relationship. Hence why she incentivizes him to break up, but I guarantee there isn't a relationship waiting for him from her. Obviously, OP is not the a-hole. I wouldn't want to get involved in that mess before the ultimatum even came out. Mini update. Apparently, Sid has completely cut my ex-boyfriend off and blocked him on everything. He is begging me to take him back, even contacting my friends to attempt to convince me. Luckily, all my friends are telling him to F off. He wrote me some 2,000-word essay on how I'm the best thing that ever happened to him, and that he was blinded by his happy childhood memories of Sid. I also found out they slept together in the past before we started dating, so that's cool. But it was just a one-night stand to see what could have been. Either way, he was definitely hiding more about his relationship with Sid than I was told. I don't really care anymore. I'm not taking him back. He's a grown man who should have known better than to ghost me for 2 weeks to think it over, as if things would be the same after he decided to pick me. Doubt anything else interesting will happen, but I might update if it does. I'm honestly just hoping this will be a reality check for him and he'll get the message. At least his friends have stopped bothering me. Now for the post about her current situation. I, 28 female, broke up with my ex, 28 male, 10 months ago, but he will not get over it. Despite me wishing to no longer interact with my ex, as well as dating someone new, Cole, 29 male, my ex has been trying to win me back by doing over-the-top things like sending me gift baskets, love letters, chocolates, etc. Even though I've blocked his number, blocked him on all social media, and always ignore his attempts to woo me with his gifts. He never actually interacts with me directly, never waits for me outside or tries to talk to me. He just leaves me gifts at our doorstep and runs away. It's creepy and makes me super uncomfortable. Cole, who I live with, doesn't actually see an issue with this and says he feels bad for my ex and doesn't want me to waste my ex's money or efforts. So I reluctantly just let Cole eat the chocolates and other crap, since he insists I don't throw them out. He just leaves me gifts at our doorstep and runs away. I don't understand why he's so chill about this, because my ex and Cole aren't even friends and have never interacted, so it makes no sense why he's so okay with my ex doing these dumb gestures that he knows make me uncomfortable and creeped out. If anything, Cole should be pissed off that someone is trying to steal his girlfriend, right? Anyway, all of this finally came to a head on my birthday. After work, I came home to our apartment decorated in balloons, chocolates, and flowers. I was immediately touched, thinking all of this was a surprise from Cole. Nope. Apparently, my ex actually came over with all this crap, buzzed our apartment doorbell, Cole let him in, and allowed my ex to decorate our apartment and leave gifts for me. Then my ex left before I could get home. Cole apparently saw no issue with this. He literally let my ex into our apartment like it was no big deal because my ex came all the way with all these gifts, which was such a thoughtful gesture. Now I feel totally unsafe. What if my ex secretly left a hidden camera or something? I have no idea why Cole is so fine with all of this. I've talked to him over and over, and he won't understand why I would want to reject free stuff from someone who creeps me out. I love Cole, but the fact that he actually let my ex into our apartment was a huge breach of my trust, and I have no clue how to deal with this. Is this relationship just unsalvageable? Or is there a way I can get it through Cole's head that none of this is okay? Could Cole have ulterior motives by letting my ex do all of these things? Any advice is welcome. I just have no clue how to handle this absurd situation. Thanks. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. This is not a relationship I would try to save. He has zero concern for your safety. My grandma let my ex in after we broke up, and he wouldn't leave me alone. He got banned from my work and got a job at the car wash next door, so he could stand outside and stare at me through the window while he dried cars. He eventually came in while I was sleeping and stabbed me. Her comment after she found out, "Well, you broke his heart and then you ignored him." Oh God, I'm so sorry that happened to you. This has been my fear because if Cole can just let my ex into our apartment, then I'm sure this could end up escalating as well if I don't nip it in the bud. Something is very wrong with Cole. What the heck does he mean he feels bad for your ex who's stalking you? If he really doesn't know him, the only thing I can think of is he's got some kind of weird male solidarity view of the situation. Do you mind if I ask why you're already living with Cole? Cost of living mostly. I live in a very expensive city, so I was living month to month on my own. He basically offered to be my roommate so that we could go half and half on the rent, internet, utilities, and it would relieve my financial stress, which it has a lot. It might have been stupid to jump the gun on us moving in so quickly, but he had only shown green flags until now. I can technically kick him out and try to look for a different roommate if things are totally done for, since most of the stuff in our apartment is mine. Edit. Thank you for all the insights, everyone. I really appreciate it. I don't have the money to do everything that was recommended, but I am going to do some investigating into Cole and my ex possibly being in cahoots with each other and confront Cole this weekend, likely to end this mess of a relationship. If there's any interest, I'll update if anything significant happens. Thank you again. Now for the update. When I got back home on Friday, I tried to come up with a good plan to keep myself safe while I confronted Cole in case he were to do something scary. A lot of people put the fear of God into me in the comments of my last post. I invited my very tall and intimidating younger brother over to be there while I talked to Cole. My brother couldn't come over until Sunday, so I spent a day and a half awkwardly trying to pretend everything was fine, but I must have done a crap job because Cole kept asking me what was wrong and love bombing me. Eventually, Sunday came around. My brother showed up, and we grilled Cole about why the heck he's been so fine with my ex coming around with gifts, and even letting him in to decorate our apartment for my birthday. I was not ready. All of you had a lot of theories, one of which came up a lot was that the two knew each other and/or were working together to do this. If anything, I would have rather that been the case because the truth is so much more messed up. Basically, Cole has been fixated on my ex. He has essentially been stalking my stalker. Cole admitted that he made fake social media accounts, yes, multiple, to follow my ex, and has been stalking his Instagram and Facebook. Apparently, my ex has been making a lot of vent posts about me and how hurt he is that I'm not returning his feelings and have moved on so fast. And Cole has been egging him on with his alt accounts to get my ex to keep trying. The reason my ex is still stalking me is because Cole has been literally telling him to on his freaking alt accounts. It's obvious my ex is unstable if he's listening to random strangers telling him to keep trying. And Cole is taking advantage of his instability by planting thoughts into his head. If I am to believe Cole's words, my ex has no idea that it's Cole who's been encouraging him to keep pursuing me. But I can't be certain about anything this guy says at this point. So why, you ask, was Cole doing all of this? That is exactly what my brother and I asked. This was his answer. To give my ex false hope. Basically, to bully him? Anytime my ex angry posted on social media about me, Cole got some sick satisfaction out of watching his misery. He wanted to string my ex along to keep trying to win my heart, just to watch him fail over and over. Cole finds it hilarious that my ex is wasting so much money on gifts for me, and that it's him who eats the chocolates and reads the desperate love letters my ex sends to me, while I act like my ex's gifts are radioactive and avoid them. This has all been some sick game to see how long he could get my ex to keep pining for me. Who the hell even does this? I've been living in fear for months because Cole thinks it's funny to manipulate my ex and watch him be heartbroken. I cannot articulate how sick all of this is. How is this funny? What is wrong with him? He said he makes sure not to go too far by discouraging my ex from making direct contact with me, but I can't believe anything anymore. I've read so many stories of people who are dating someone who seemed so sweet initially, but turned out to be actually unhinged. But I naively never thought that could be me. I was so careless and dumb because I clung to someone who finally treated me with kindness, but he is a twisted man who turned my ex into a monster by feeding his delusions. I think if he hadn't done all this, my ex probably wouldn't still be stalking me in the first place. My constant fear and discomfort have just been an unfortunate byproduct of his little game of puppetry. I can't even comprehend how someone could do something like this. I'm so shaken up, I feel like I'm spiraling. Suffice to say, I'm living with my brother and his girlfriend while my ex gets the heck out. I told him he needs to move out within the week or I'm getting the cops involved. He didn't make a fuss or anything, surprisingly. He just looked at the floor like a kicked puppy. He hasn't even tried to call or text me, but I blocked him just in case. I'm going to see if my landlord can understand my situation and let me break the lease early with no extra cost. But if I can't, my brother is going to cover the extra cost in the meantime, and I'll stay with him and his girlfriend until I can find somewhere else. My brother is seriously a godsend. I'm definitely going to go back to therapy as soon as possible because this whole situation has me unable to sleep at night, trust anyone, and I really need a better understanding of what are red flags in relationships. So many of you told me I was a pushover and you're all right. It shouldn't have taken this long for me to call this relationship with Cole off. This is so messed up, but I'm safe for now. I don't know what I'd do without my brother and his girlfriend. Thanks to everyone who told me to get out of this relationship, because Cole was way more twisted than I ever could have thought. I don't even know if he told the whole truth, but I don't even care anymore. I'm out. Gone. Never looking back. Holy crap, I'm glad you updated us, but WTF. That's absolutely insane, and I'm glad you're safe. Yeah, me too. I took the week off from work because I need to just figure all this thing out. I'm so full of anxiety, but my brother is trying to distract me by talking about competitive Pokemon. Bless his heart. I hope you took pictures of the apartment before you left, to make sure if he damages or steals your stuff, you can have proof and took anything really valuable with you. I always take photos of my apartments and my valuables the moment I move in for my tenant insurance. Make sure you tell someone at work about this, in case either of them show up. Don't worry, I'm literally the receptionist and have access to the wonderful office panic button. Immediately and discreetly alerts the police. Your brother or someone needs to tell your stalker. I have no sympathy for a stalker, but if this went down as described, he's basically been a victim of cyberbullying, and there is no way of knowing what might happen next. He needs a dose of reality. For your safety. I was so caught up in escaping that I never considered this. You're right. Thank you for reminding me. My head is such a mess right now. I'll need to brainstorm the best way to let my ex know. I hate to know how he'll react to that though. Edit/mini update. Thank you everyone for your advice and words of encouragement. I called the non-emergency police line to file a report about all this. It wasn't super helpful other than just making a record, so I'll do a follow-up with them once I have safe access to my apartment and can collect evidence. I unblocked Cole for now to gather any text evidence as some of you suggested, but he's been pretty quiet. He sent a photo of a couple of garbage bags full of his stuff and asked if he could have a date to say goodbye to my cat. I have her with me currently at my brother's place. No way am I letting her near him. I haven't replied yet. I turned read receipts off. Haven't contacted ex number 1 yet. Still figuring out the best way to do that. Tomorrow is a state holiday where I live, so my brother and his girlfriend will be home from work. We are working together to figure all this out. Definitely moving out of my current place as soon as I can. Sorry I can't reply to all the comments. I'm still pretty overwhelmed and anxious, and there are so many that it's frying my brain, but I'm trying to read most of them. I appreciate every one of you though. Now for the last update. Here are the highlights. Cole has moved out. Locks have been changed. Still looking for a different place to move into. The housing market here is awful. I've been staying with my brother despite Cole having moved out, because I don't feel safe in that apartment. We have a nice arrangement at my brother's place with me buying half the groceries and cooking 3 times a week. Kitty's now comfortable here. She was hiding under the bed for like 3 days. Still not sleeping well, but I'm safe, so that's what matters. I haven't talked to the police since before. I just couldn't find enough evidence in my apartment to make any kind of case since I threw out most of my Stalker X's gifts. Here's the pretty big update. Stalker X has been informed of Cole's doings. I'm just going to start calling Stalker X James to make things easier. My brother contacted James on Facebook and told him what's been going on. We didn't have physical proof of what Cole did, nor the names of his alts, but we knew enough specific details that it seems James believed us. I've been vetting everything my brother has been sending. James informed us that he checked, and most of the accounts that were encouraging his stalking have been deactivated, so it further backed our story, and it seems like Cole is covering his tracks. Probably anticipated this. From the conversation, it seems that James has been wary of Cole ever since Cole let him into my apartment for my birthday. He said he didn't actually want to come into the apartment and just wanted to leave the gifts and decor with Cole, but Cole insisted he come in, and that made him feel super awkward and uncomfortable. He was worried that Cole was trying to coax him inside my apartment in order to hurt him because the way he was acting was really off. He did his best to be in and out as fast as possible because apparently Cole just gave him bad vibes. Anyway, James seems pretty shaken. He didn't put 2 and 2 together that Cole was the one encouraging his behavior, but was starting to get frustrated by the encouragement, which James said bordered on harassment because one of Cole's alts would spam his DMs with ideas and ask for updates, and it was getting really intrusive. Why did it take this many months for him to finally feel this way? He apologized and promised he would leave me alone, telling me that this situation has him really shaken up. Smells like he wants pity, but I'm not falling for that. I don't know if I believe everything James said. I think he may have tried to play up his negative feelings about this in order to gain sympathy from my brother and me by proxy. But who knows? I'm not going to talk to him. That's hopefully it for the James side of things. On Cole's side, he has been mostly quiet, but something did freak me out. After I told James about what Cole did, Cole sent these texts, grammar and spelling edited from original messages. Why did you give James my number? Note, I didn't. Not sure how James got his number. What the heck is wrong with you? Why did you tell him and give him my number? Note, again, I only did the former, not the latter. Seriously? This is freaking ridiculous. He's blowing up my freaking phone, piece of shit. You're such a petty bitch for this. Effing freak. That was 3 days ago. Haven't heard anything from Cole since. Haven't replied to anything he sent. No idea how James got Cole's number, so that freaks me out, but that is currently not my problem. Went back to work today. Things are okay, but I'm still anxious. Will update here on my profile if anything develops, but things are stable for now. I don't know if there will be much new now that James is informed and Cole is out. Hopefully things will stay stable and I can go back to my life. Hope you stay safe, OP. They both sound unstable. Thank you. Cole is definitely some kind of evil, but I'm starting to think James is just a mentally ill man who is very susceptible to manipulation. I know I shouldn't feel pity for my stalker, but I can't help it after seeing what Cole did to him. Somehow I doubt James actually got his number. He probably said something to one of the fake accounts, and that was it, and Cole is using that to go after you. I have no idea. Cole seems pretty disinterested in any kind of contact since he moved out and sent those last text messages. I don't really want to overthink too much about it because I'm anxious enough as it is. If Cole could vanish into the abyss now that his fun is over, I'd be pleased. Last story. My missus made me choose between her or the dog. Guess who won? Alright, so I'm 24, a chippy from New South Wales. Been renting this small joint for a couple of years, had a decent yard, and I got my best mate living with me. My border collie buddy, yes, that's his name. Smartest bloody dog ever. Comes in the ute, eats everything I'm not bothered to, keeps me company at work, etc. But I've been seeing this girl Tash for about 8 months. Things were good at the start, she's fun and all, but she never really liked dogs. I figured that she'd warm up to the big guy, but nah. She was always like, he smells, he stares at me weirdly. Mate, that's just how collies are. They're curious and playful little buggers. Anyway, she moved in a few weeks ago. First few days were alright, a bit crowded but manageable. Then Buddy got into the laundry one arvo and chewed up one of her socks. My bad, left the door open, thought it'd be no big deal. She lost her shit, yelling, saying she's sick of dog hair and how she can't relax with him around. Then she hits me with it. It's me or the dog. I actually laughed, thought that was a piss take, but no, she was dead serious. So I just said that I'd had Bud longer, and at least he doesn't crack it over his socks. But that went down as well as a warm beer. She packed a bag, called me an actual a-hole, and left. It's been a few days now. House is quiet, and the dog is lying next to me right now, happy as, I don't know. But I do know that dogs don't gaslight ya, don't start fights, and are always stoked to see you. So yeah, I chose my dog, and I wouldn't change a thing. Well done. It's his home she moved in, then out of LOL. Too true, mate. Most Aussie thing I've read. Crack a cold one. You deserve it. Good idea, mate.